Hey y'all, it's Dawn, and I'm so glad you're back. I've got another fun, budget-friendly DIY video for you today. I am so excited to be participating in this Bohemian Fall collab with 20 of my friends. Be sure to watch to the end because there will be a giveaway. I'll tell you more about the collab and the giveaway shortly. But now for the first DIY. Okay guys, I have to say this is my absolute favorite DIY ever. I'm not kidding. This project turned out so good. I am super excited to share it with all my crafting family and friends. I used this Hobby Lobby 12-inch round and sanded it with a Dollar Tree sanding sponge to smooth out the wood. I used Waverly antiquing wax and a baby white to stain the entire wood round, front, back, and sides. I used a paintbrush in areas that the baby white didn't fill in. While the antiquing wax dried, I used my Cricut to cut out a stencil of a file I got from Design Bundles. You'll find links in the description for the products I used to create this. I used Oracle 813 masking film for the stencil. After applying the stencil to the wood, I used a thin layer of Mod Podge and a Mod Podge brush to seal the stencil. I have never had luck with stencils at all. So let's all keep our fingers crossed. I wanted as little bleed through as possible and the sharpest lines that I could get. So I tried every trick I have seen other crafters use. I let the Mod Podge dry completely before moving on. I think that is what I do wrong. I'm so impatient, I never let things dry completely. I used some Folk Art Pearl White metallic acrylic paint to apply to the stencil. And for my stencil brush, I used a Dollar Tree makeup sponge and a clothespin. I have done this before and came out with pretty good results. I like it better than the stencil brushes I have used in the past. I applied 3 layers of paint using the pouncing method. Like I said, I was trying to get as little bleed through as I could. I lightly pounced the sponge onto the stencil until I had my first layer complete. I used my heat gun to dry the paint between layers. Once the first layer was dry, I did the pouncing with the sponge again and dried it with my heat gun. And I then applied the last layer of paint and dried it. I let the last layer dry for about 30 minutes. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this works. I started removing the stencil using my Cricut weeding tool. So far so good. I continue pulling up the stencil. It turned out perfect. I did have a couple of bleed through areas, but they were so small they are barely noticeable. I was just really inspecting it to see. I really wanted to protect my work, so I used the hard coat Mod Podge over the entire top. I applied 5 coats, sanded with some 240 grit sandpaper between the coats, and dried it between coats with my hot air gun. I let the last coat dry completely on its own. Now to assemble the Lazy Susan. I used this 4-inch wood coaster as the base. I stained it with the same antiquing wax so it would match the top. And I also left the little felt pieces on the bottom of the coaster. I purchased a set of these Lazy Susan thingies from Amazon for another project I just never got around to finishing. I placed it in the middle of the coaster and drilled 4 small holes in the coaster. I didn't want the coasters to split when I put the screws in. I then screwed 4 number 4 1/2-inch screws into the coasters. The hardware from Amazon didn't come with any screws, so keep that in mind when you purchase it. Now that the bottom was ready, it was time to attach it to the top piece. I turned the top over so the bottom was facing me. I placed the bottom part on and found the center of the round by measuring from the edge of the hardware to the outside of the round until all 4 sides were the same distance. I screwed in pilot holes and then attached 4 more screws. And wow, look at how amazing this Lazy Susan turned out. I simply love the design and the versatility of the Lazy Susan. I can't wait to display it on my kitchen island. And the best part is it spins. Let me know your thoughts on this amazing and beautiful Lazy Susan. I'm amazed at how simple it was to put together. I will definitely be making more of these in the future. As I mentioned before the first DIY, this is a collab with 20 of my friends all across YouTube. We all stepped out of our comfort zones, Farmhouse Decor, and created a little boho treat for you today. You will find a link in the description for this amazing playlist that I know you will want to watch. Stick around to learn more about the giveaway. But now for DIY number 2. I used this little frame I found in my stash to make a boho inspired beaded lantern. After removing the embellishment from the front, I realized I would have to use the back of the picture because of the paper on the front. I used my X-Acto knife to score the hot glue that was holding in the board and pushed it out gently with my fingers. Once the board was removed, I used a finger sander to remove the paper that had come off and to smooth the edges of the frame. To reattach the frame, I use some Star-Bond glue. If you haven't used Star-Bond adhesives, you need to give them a try. I absolutely love them. They adhere quickly, and if you use the accelerator, it's even quicker. I started using Star-Bond a couple of months ago, and I'm really impressed with the quality of the product. I haven't found anything that it doesn't work on. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to take a look. I put a small amount around the inside edge of the frame and then replaced the backing. I held it down for about 10 seconds before moving on to the next step. With my drill and a bit a little larger than the wire I'll be using, I drilled holes into the corners of the backing. I then painted the entire frame and base with Waverly plaster chalk paint, and of course dried it with my hot air gun. I used 20mm natural wood beads for the feet of the lantern. I placed painter's tape on the bottom of 4 of these, and you'll see why in a minute. I purchased a coil of this aluminum wire at Hobby Lobby and cut the lengths that I wanted with some wire cutters. This aluminum wire is flexible, but it will hold its shape. I don't remember what gauge it is, but it was the largest I could find. To attach the feet and the wire to the base, I filled the hole in the bead with hot glue, placed the wire through the hole in the base, and pushed it down into the bead. I did this until all 4 legs and wires were attached to the base. To make sure everything was attached well, I used more of the Star-Bond adhesive in the corners. I used the small mini attachment that came with the glue and applied it in the corners and pressed the wire against the side of the base. Next, I added 14 20mm natural wood beads to each of the wires. I get my beads from Amazon, and you'll find a link to them in the description. I decided to leave the beads the natural color instead of painting or staining them. Once all the beads had been added, I used my fingers and some pliers to bend the wire up. While I was bending and working on the top of the wire, I was also bending the wire into the shape I wanted the lantern to be, and bending the wires so that they touched each other. I had to do a little trimming of the wire so the little top piece would sit flush with the beads. To attach the top piece, I filled the hole with hot glue, placed it on the wire, and turned everything upside down while the hot glue set up. I went ahead and removed the painter's tape from the feet and cleaned up any areas where the glue had seeped through. I left the beads the natural color because I have another lantern with natural beads, but you could paint or stain them to match your decor. I added some Dollar Tree fall leaves and a candle to the lantern. And just look how stinking cute it turned out. The other lantern I made was more difficult to make because I didn't have this wire. I used skewers, so I would definitely recommend using this wire. It gives a nice curve and can be manipulated into whatever shape you desire. Let me know in the comments where you would use this adorable natural wood lantern. I'm going to be putting it on the shelf in my family room. The giveaway is for a $100 Dollar Tree gift card. Just imagine, you can get 100 things from Dollar Tree if you win. For the giveaway, you'll need to watch videos from the playlists in the description. Each video will have a secret word you will want to listen for. Enter the secret word in the comment section to be entered into the giveaway. The giveaway ends September 6th at midnight, and the winner will be announced on September 7th. My secret word is Lily. Be sure to leave a comment saying Lily to be entered into the giveaway. I recently got this chalkboard sign at a local yard sale. I absolutely love the beautiful frame and the light blue color. I removed the chalkboard from the frame using a pair of pliers and used some of this gorgeous table runner I had gotten at a local Goodwill store. I cut the table runner down to size to fit the chalkboard. I placed a bead of hot glue across the top of the chalkboard and secured the fabric to the chalkboard. After the top was secure, I added more hot glue and laid all of the fabric down, making sure it was pressed down evenly and flat. I cut off the excess fabric and trimmed everything down so it would fit back into the frame. I wanted the frame to look a little bit more distressed, so I used some Waverly antiquing wax and dry brushed it over the entire frame. This helped to bring out more of the details around the frame. I placed the fabric covered board back inside the frame and just look at how gorgeous this wall hanging turned out. This was a simple, easy, cost-effective DIY. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you found me from the playlist, I hope you will consider subscribing and joining our little family. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for all of your support. Don't forget to comment the secret word for your chance to win a $100 gift card to Dollar Tree. And I will see y'all next time. Happy crafting!